Hey guys, Charlie here with Prior Media with another WordPress video for you. It's been a while since I've done these. I want to get back into the swing of things with another X WordPress video for you. And today I want to look at the header builder with X Pro. Now, a lot of you guys have licenses to X, but the vast majority of you do not have a license to X Pro. That's because there are now two versions of X, and X Pro is not the one that is available on ThemeForest. However, if you purchased a license to X prior to X Pro's release, you can actually upgrade your license from X to X Pro for free if you want to at any time. There's no expiration to that. And for most of you, I would actually recommend probably not doing that. But if you like what you see in this video today and you want this functionality and you're like, I'm bold, I want to do this, well, you can do it for free. Just go into your ThemeCo account and make that happen. Details on that, link in the description below. So I want to look at the header builder today, and we're going to solve some common problems that I keep sort of seeing pop up a little bit. And I want to kind of address a couple of things that I've been doing for a couple of clients already that I think is improving their site because of this new header builder. So I've got a little demo page set up right here on a little testing environment for Prior Media. And it's a very simple page. It's mostly just templated stuff. This is a templated thing that's been slightly modified. Then a quick little thing made in Cornerstone, a couple of minutes there. And then this is mostly just a template that has been modified for this video. So, okay, so here's the header, and this is where we're going to be focusing today is the header builder, because header builder gives you complete control over what appears in your header, and it's really nice. There's been a couple of things that people couldn't do easily with the previous version of X that they can now totally do really easily with this version of X. So let's just take a look at what we have so far. We've got this button over here on the right side for sign up, and this is a custom made button, and you can make this go anywhere you want, and it doesn't look like the rest of the links. Very cool. Now, it's important to know also that this stuff is not built with Cornerstone, so if you're used to building with Cornerstone, this is going to be, well, to be honest, I don't like the UI. Personally, I just don't like the UI, the way they've decided to do it, but we're going to, we'll deal with it, and eventually I'll get used to it, and then I won't care. That's pretty much how it will work. Services is here, and you notice that I've got a flyout menu, and it kind of just comes out like this, drops down like this, and then flies out over here. And this is just for demonstration purposes, right? This isn't how I would normally do my menu, but this is just going to demonstrate a common problem. So I'm going to make this narrow like it's a mobile phone, right? So as we get narrower like this, we start to see that on an iPad, perhaps the menu goes away. It's replaced by a menu drop down right here. And we get the same menu as we had before with multiple levels to a flyout menu, okay? It's got to collapse like that because the first drop down is, a hamburger, and then the first drop down is here, and then it comes out to here, and then it here. Okay? Same menu as we had before, just a slightly different look, and my colors are off, but whatever. Slide in over here, and now we have the presentation that you would normally get on mobile right before Become Independent breaks, right there. So this is about what you would get. This is what I get on my iPhone 7 Plus. So as I scroll down like this, I can see the presentation for mobile, and it looks pretty good, right? I mean, obviously, for something that was whipped up in 10 minutes, this 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, it looks pretty good for that. And it's a nice, simple page. It does what it wants to do. So what's the problem, Charlie, right? What's the issue we're going to be focusing on today? Well, this one, if I make the menu fly down like this, cool, we see services, awesome. But as I hover over services, we're going to notice immediately what happens. Yeah, the menu kind of goes a little off canvas here. And then this one has to fly out this direction because there's no room left on that side. So it flies over top of this one, which I don't personally like. So how do we change this mobile experience to be a different mobile experience? Well, with the new header builder and the X Pro, we can do some pretty cool things with our headers. And today we're going to look at how to independently control the menu for desktop and mobile to give both a great, but not necessarily consistent, but a great experience for both devices. And I also want to give you a quick little bonus thing. We're gonna do a call to action that kind of lingers at the bottom of our screen on mobile only, not on our desktop. So let's get started working with that. So this is the same page, except it's loaded in the new header builder. And with X Pro, there's this little bar on the side here, and you can go to headers. and you'll get to pretty much where I was. This is like the welcome screen here for a header. You can create new headers here. You can also start with a template. So if I wanted to start with hero, for example, you'll see what that looks like. It's pretty much what you just saw, except I edited it and made some corrections and made some things that were different. But this is pretty much what you just saw. There was 2 buttons here. I removed one. So I'm going to go to Prior Media New. That's the menu that's the header that we were just looking at. And there's a couple of things I want to do to change this to not only potentially increase my SEO impact as far as like making my site more SEO friendly, as well as giving people a better way to contact me and good information. But what I also want to do is I want to fix that mobile menu. And then the final thing we're going to do is we're going to give a nice, cool call to action at the bottom of our page on mobile. So those are the 3 things we're going to focus on. That's sort of like there's a problem with this site and I want to fix it, and this is how I would do it. So I'm going to look at this top bar here and this bar here. These are 2 bars. You can think of them as sections. This top bar is this bar right here. And then this bottom bar is actually this whole area here. This is part of the header on this particular page. And we can alter this and change this by clicking these things. And then we can go into like, say if I want to change this text, I can just simply click it, come down to setup where text is, click this, and I can change it to whatever I want. And there's a whole bunch of different controls for every single element here, or partial, I think is what they're calling them. But I'm going to probably call them elements because it just feels like a better name for me. I don't know. We'll see. So bar and bar. We're going to focus on the top bar here, but I'm actually going to add another bar. So to do that, I'm going to come over here, hover over top, just above this bar, and I'm going to see add. I'm going to click that. That's going to give me bar number 3, and it's going to pop a bar above this. Okay? Pop a bar above this. So if I click this bar, you'll notice that there's no containers. Containers go inside bars. So every bar is consistent of containers, and those containers have partials, aka elements. So I'm going to click this. And or modules. I'm sorry, they call these modules. I'm not sure off the top of my head what partials are. I'm gonna look it up after this video. No biggie. I just remember I recognized the name from like one of their videos in their knowledge base, and I was like thinking that was what this is. Anyway, so containers, right? This container, we have a whole bunch of different options for it, and we'll have even more options later. Let's click this. Let's click this. Go to first module in the container. We're going to add one, and here are all the modules that can go in that container above. I'm going to start with a text one. So let's just do text for now. And you can see text appears right here at the top. And in this area, I can put pretty much anything I want, but let's just say I want to put like a phone number, right? Fine, fair enough. Obviously, we would style it a bit differently, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe we'll make it bold or something, right? Really just kind of, I don't know, do that. And then if we want to change even more about it, we absolutely can. That's not the limitations. There's a ton of stuff you can do to text down here. So let's maybe play around with a little bit of it. Let's make it all capitalized for phone, just so we don't have to worry about it anymore. We can increase the font size by kind of going like this. That's a bit too big. Let's maybe dial that back down. And the cool thing about using it here in this little tile here or in this little slider here, rather than doing it like a strict font size, is that it will actually resize itself for the size of the display, which is nice. Maybe we'll go with semi-bold on here, and you know, we can maybe change the color if we want to too. How about we go like, I don't know, something darker probably. Now you'll notice it's not really changing much as I click, and that's because there's a slight bit of transparency on this. So there's a lot of these elements that come, a lot of these modules and stuff, and a lot of the templated stuff, they have a bit of transparency added to them. So if you're noticing that changes aren't really happening like you want, be sure to like look down at this slider down here and see if there's a transparency on that. So let's just click all the way over. I want this to be 100%. And then how about we just, I don't know, I want to adjust this to where it's somewhat the same color as everything else, but I don't really need it to be. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I don't need it to be exact for this demonstration, so it's fine. Okay, now, the layout for this container or for this bar, I think probably the bar. Let's go to inspect the bar, and you'll notice that the bar has this bit of a thickness to it. We don't need it to be this big. This is just a top bar. We're going to put some social media links and something, maybe an address or something here. But I don't need it to be this thick. So I'm going to take the dimensions of this, and I got here by going to Layout tab, and here's the bar. We're going to click the magnifying glass to inspect this bar. Then I'm going to come down to height, and I'm just going to basically reduce this toggle a little bit. And maybe we'll bring it down to about like, maybe like that. A little narrow. It's a little crowded up there. Maybe we'll give it a little bit more space. And so there we go. We have phone. Now I can also say content max length. And this is a pretty important thing. If I make this really wide like this, my browser, like my nice wide monitor that I have, you'll notice how spread out this stuff is. I don't personally like that. My content ends right here. And so like I kind of want my menus and stuff to conform to this consistency. Even though I have this whole big width to play with, if I can control the max width of my content, then I can control my design a lot more. And I personally like that as just a personal perspective, personal opinion. So I'm going to take constant max width, and I'm going to actually govern how wide this stuff can be. And I'm going to say I want it to be, let's just go with 1300. Okay, so now this is never going to be more than 1300. And I'm going to do the same thing, I think, for this bar so that my logos and stuff behave as well. So let's just take, this bar right here. And I'm going to come over to dimensions for the bar, and I'm going to say probably 1300 here. Okay, so now this is a little cleaner. I personally feel that's a little cleaner. I'm not sure why this is. You know what? I think it's because I have a little bit of transparency on the side of this image, and that's why it's like there's a bit of transparency on this side of the image. So if I really wanted that to be specific, I probably should expand this a little bit more and go like 1310 or 20 or 30. I don't really know how much transparency there is on the side of that image, but it's close enough, right? So about 1320 for this stuff, that's fine. That brings the little bit of transparency that is on this image, and it kind of allows this to actually show consistent with that. So fine. So now no matter how wide I make my monitor, that is going to stay where it's supposed to stay. Cool? Okay, so the next thing I want to do here, of course, is just maybe add an address, and then maybe give me some social media links or something over here, like something that people can look at and go, oh, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, something like that. So let's go back to the layout tab, and we're going to go to bar number 3, container, and we're going to add a new element. See, like this is the inconsistency that I'm talking about. Let's go back to, I want to go back to layout, but now I can't. Here we go. They said add modules here, but then once I've added a module, then it labels them elements, right? So it's like kind of an interchangeable thing. Hit add, and then I'm gonna go with another text, or I could do that, or what I could do is I could just hit this delete button here, get rid of that, and then duplicate the one I already have, which is probably better because then I get all the color and the sizing and all that stuff right. Okay, so if this text, I can change this to be, let's do address. Probably want to spell it right. Might be a good thing to do. And I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, this awesome street. Okay, here's an existing problem with this header builder. They're going to work this out. This is a known issue. If you make changes too quickly, like if you're a really fast typer, the whole thing just kind of resets and says, no, we're done. So it saves what you've done, but it resets and you have to keep going in a different way. It's not really that user-friendly, but it's okay. It'll get ironed out. That's okay. This, I want this, like with an S. There we go. This, street, city, state. And then I'm going to go like 55445. I apologize if that's an actual zip code. It probably is, but I'm going to put that there. Okay, so that's the address. Now, you'll notice, though, that these two modules are slammed right up against each other, and that's not what we want. But rather than trying to fiddle with that or adding spaces or trying to, figure out how that works, what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the container for this, inspect the container, and then I'm going to say I want the preset for the self-flex to be fill space, and that's going to kick it all the way over here like this. Now, what I also could do is say fill space equally, which will do the same thing, except when I add more modules or when I add more elements, it will then shift these things to where they are exactly the same distance apart. So that's kind of cool. I'm not going to do either one of those things, though, because it doesn't conform to my wishes for this design. So I'm actually going to go back to standard. And then I'm going to go to flex grow down here, and I'm going to increment this very, very carefully, or very, very small increments. So I'm going to go like 0.1. And you'll notice how much 0.1 Like it kicks it all the way over here, which is fine, but I think it's still a little bit too far away from what I'm wanting. So how about we go 0.06, 0.05, 0.04. That's probably better. 0.04, right? So I could probably do one more. Let's 2.05. Okay. So we have a phone number. We have an address above. Awesome. Now let's maybe do some social media links over here and stuff that we wanted. I'm going to go with another container for that. So add a new container. And then I want to take this bar right here, I think. I'm going to inspect the bar first, and I'm going to change the bar to have... Does the bar not have this? I don't think it does. You know what? Initial position absolute. That's not what I want. Okay, never mind what I just said. Back away from that. Don't go to the bar. Go to the second container that we just had. This is a new tool, guys. Bear with me. It's a new tool. We're going to add a new module, and I'm going to put social. Now, social is going to give me a nice little social media link, and it's grayed out initially, but I can like hover over it, and you can see that it makes a color, which is kind of nice. If I click this, then we get all the nice little flex features. We get all the margin, the padding, the border. We can choose the colors and all this other stuff. So I'm going to take design. We're going to go to this design tab. Again, this interface, I don't personally like the way this interface is, but I think I'm going to get used to it. And then once I get used to it, it'll probably be no problem. I think it'll probably be no problem. We're going to take now this. There's Facebook right here. Yep. Let's click this. And I'm going to change the link to Facebook. So my link to Facebook, we're just going to say it's slash, we have to do the full URL, sorry, https://fb.com/Charlie Pryor. There we go. So I'll just do that. And I'm going to say I want this link to open in a new tab. Of course, if you didn't know this already, you just learned something new. You can do fb.com. You don't have to type facebook.com every single time. You can do fb.com and it'll still work. It's kind of nice. Okay, so we've got that. We got a nice social media link here. Now let's say I want to add a Twitter one, right? If we scroll far enough along this interface, eventually we'll get to things where it's like talking about the graphic setup and graphical icon. We can choose different icons and the colors for things. So let's say I don't like the fact that this is grayed out. Let's say I want this to be more pronounced all the time. I can go to this color right here, and I can change it to like anything I want at that point, you know. And then the graphic text shadow and all sorts of stuff, man. And you can even change the interactions here. So all the way at the back, we see text interactions or graphic interactions. Let's say I want it to scale down or whatever. Whenever I interact with this, it's going to do a scale down effect. So if I hover over top of it, you can see how it kind of slides and slams right into the middle there. You can kind of see how that effect's happening. So you can there's all sorts of stuff you can do with this, and there's so much more flexibility than you had in the previous version of X. Before in X, you'd have to do all this stuff manually. You'd have to code this in. All right, so now I'm gonna say I want a Twitter logo, right, or something like that. So let's go to layout, and we have social here. I'm just gonna copy it. That's gonna put another one right next to it. See. And then inside the container, what I want to do is I'm going to put some more spacing between these two things too. I could also do fill space equally, but remember, that's going to put equal spacing between the two of them, and it kind of slides them over as far to the left as possible, as far to the right as possible. We don't want that. You can see that this container is split right down the middle with the other container. So it's not going to go all the way over here, but it is going to go as far as it can go. I'm going to go to standard again. And again, flex grow, very small increments, 0.02, let's say. That's not bad. I can live with that. These two are now separated. That's pretty good. So for the second one, I want to change this to a Twitter thing. So we're going to come down here to the link really quick. And I'm going to say twitter.com. I don't know if there's a short link for Twitter. There probably is, but I'm going to use Twitter. New tab, still want that. Now I'm going to come all the way over here to the graphics section, change the primary icon. Okay. And there's bound to be a Twitter one in here somewhere. There's a ton of icons. I'm going to type in tweet or twit. Probably just TWI will be enough. There's a Twitter icon. Let's click that. It'll change the icon up here to a Twitter logo, but now the color's off, right? It's still a Facebook coloring. So I'm going to change the interaction color, and we're going to come over to like a lighter blue. I don't know exactly the color for Twitter off the top of my head, but we'll choose something that I think is, I don't know, probably close to Twitter. Yeah, that's probably good, right? So now we have a Twitter and we have a Facebook. Both of those are links. Both of those will go someplace. And let's make these more noticeable, right? They're kind of up here. Let's make them just a little bit more noticeable. I'm going to go to layout, And how about we go and add an element to the left of all these things? These are in order from left to right. So the first one is the Facebook, the second one is Twitter. If I want to add something to the left of these, I'm going to have to go above this one, add an element above it. Go back to text, and now I have a text element here. Let's go ahead and click the inspector on that. And I'm going to change this to connect with us. Something like that. Connect with us. Yeah, that was pretty good. Now we can. I'm going to change this a little bit just to make it look a little bit decent, look a little bit better. How about we make it semi-bold? Change the font size ever so slightly. That's not slight. That's too much. Let's bring it back. That's not enough. How about we do this a little bit more fine-tuned control? Let's say 1.1. You know what? That's not bad. I'm thinking maybe just 1 is fine though. It's not bad. I could live with it either way. Let's just make it 1.1 for now. We can also increase the letter spacing here, so it kind of spreads it out just a little bit. Let's just kind of drag, yeah, it's a little bit like that. That's probably good. Okay. Now let's separate these just a little bit more. I want to come back to layout, come to the container again, and let's change the flex flow now to 0.04. That'll spread them out a little bit, right? A little bit. 0.06 ought to work. And now we have phone, address, connect with us, Facebook and Twitter right there. Doesn't that look nice? I mean, obviously there are some things stylistically I could do with this that would, be a little bit better, but, fine. For now, for the example, you've seen what we can do, fine. You can also adjust margins, paddings, borders, border radius, put a little curve on things if you want to. We're not gonna worry about that in this video, but that's something you could do. Okay, so we've made one cool modification to this header. We have a phone number at the top, an address at the top, connect with us, etc. Now we could also schemify this, put some schema.org item props in here, but we're not going to do that because X now comes with a snippet extension that lets you do all of that on all your pages for you. Very cool. I think that's exclusive to X Pro. I think that's an extension for X Pro. Don't quote me on that. I know it's definitely something that's only available with 5.0 and later, as far as X goes, since the 5.0 update. X Pro, if I ever say 5.0, I mean like X and X Pro together. The version numbers in my head, there's two different versions to these two. So like X Pro right now is on version 1.0.4 and like regular X is 5.0.4, I think, something like that. So as of this video, there's like two different versions of the themes and two different version numbers that go with those themes. I'm referring to the launch of X Pro and the launch of X 5.0. Since then, there's been a snippet extension that's been added, and it's going to add all this cool schema stuff for you automatically, greatly improving your presence online, your discoverability online, all that stuff. So very cool. Okay, so the next thing I want to do now is I want to fix this menu. Remember, if we go to mobile, I'm going to click this little phone icon over here. And if we go to mobile, we can get all these different aspect ratios, all these different screen sizes, right, for our site. So this is what our header looks like under this size, header looks like on this size. Uh-oh. See what's happening here? Uh-oh. This one here and this one here. Ugh. Okay. Starting to look bad, right? This doesn't look very good. We're going to have to fix that too, aren't we? So let's fix that. And this is going to kind of play off the next fixes that we're going to be doing as well. Let's take this bar. I'm going to start, I think, by just changing the visibility settings of the whole bar. So this bar will disappear under certain conditions, or maybe that's too extreme. How about we instead do it on a container level? So let's say that this container, maybe we can do it on an element level. Can we do this on an element level? Like this text right here. If I click this is the text. And let's say I go to customize. It's this customize tab right here. I can choose the visibility settings for this, right? I can choose to hide it during certain breakpoints. So I'm going to say that if the display is this size or smaller, hide the connect with us, okay? So if I go this way, we see connect with us. If I go this way, connect with us disappears, and now we get just these two icons, okay? The address and phone number are still there. That's probably fine for this, actually. I'm okay with that. But when we get to this size, now we have a problem with this address. So when we get to this small, we're going to get rid of this whole bar, I think. I think that's probably an okay thing to do. So I'm going to go to layout. We're going to choose this whole container right here. Actually, you know what? Probably the whole bar. I think the whole bar. Inspect. go to Customize, and then we're going to hide this as soon as we get to here and here. We're going to leave it here. So now what we get is it shows up here like this, Connect with Us. We get this here, looks pretty good, okay. Then we get the Connect with Us, that disappears to make room for the address and phone number. Social media links are still there. Then this, we have no top bar. Now, obviously, you can change it how you want. For the purposes of what I'm doing here, that's just what I'm going to go with. Another way we could approach this, another way we could do this, is to say that it shows up, right? But this container disappears, right? So we could say that this container goes away, the social media links go away, right? And so now we're left with address and phone number, but what we're not left with is it's like not good spacing, right? And that's why I kind of wanted to get rid of it. We could also do another container that had this, that was only visible on this size device. There's a whole bunch of things we can do to fix this problem. But for the purposes of this video, since it's already getting pretty long, sorry about that. I think there's going to be a part 1 and part 2 here on this. I think for the purposes of that, we're just going to kind of leave it as is. So it disappears here. Then the city and street, I think I'm probably going to just go ahead and maybe I just get rid of the address. What if we just get rid of the address? The address is this text element. So if I get rid of this address, we can say, let's say don't show on this size device, don't show on this size device. There we go. Then I can leave the phone number and the social media links because these guys are mobile anyway. So what do they need an address for? Layout, I'm kidding, obviously. Doing this here, layout, boom, boom, boom. Yep, let's make sure we're good on this size device. Address, phone number, social media links. Phone number only, social media links, and then this size, we get rid of it entirely. I'm okay with that. I think that's a good way to go about this. So that's where we're going to stop with this video. It's getting a little long. I'm going to do another half-hour segment to fix the rest of this. So come on back for the next video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you think it's helpful so far, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. I do primarily do gaming content on the channel, but my profession, my day job, if you will, is creating media content online, including websites, as well as training people on how to use the tools that I use every day and how to do the things that I do. So if you are one of those people who would like to be more independent on the internet, self-promotion is happening right here in front of you. Be aware. If you'd like to get started working with WordPress themes, with working with X, and sort of getting to be more confident and more independent on the internet, you can find the link in the description down below to priormedia.net. Check out the services I offer, the training that I offer, and the price points and all that stuff. It's all right there for you. And if you think that I might be a decent teacher for you and we can work together, give me a call. Sounds fun. Or contact me with an email or something. Yeah, that. Anyway, I'm Charlie with Prior Media. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.